Good evening. My name is Ben Bryant here with Channel 7 News, live on the scene where local church, Westboro Baptist, claims to have been protesting the funeral of one Matthew Snyder. Snyder was a local military corporal and hero. Sadly, the church openly admits they disagree with that title, as they claim he was in the wrong due to his lifestyle as an openly gay man. A large mob of churchgoers were seen the morning of the funeral, among their pastor, going even as far to say that he deserved to be killed in action for his homosexual lifestyle. Thankfully, some of our local news team were willing enough to reenact the scene where Westboro Baptist highly offended the family of Matthew Snyder. Let's cut to that now.
Hey, Pastor Phelps, did you hear? There's another funeral down the road tomorrow morning.
Funeral for what?
A fag soldier funeral, you moron.
Another one of those?
Yeah, let's go.
Disgust me. Hello? Is this Mr. Bendova? I'm calling on behalf of Westboro Baptist Church to inform you that we will be protesting Lance Corporal Matthew Snyder's funeral tomorrow.
Woo! What the heck? It's my boy's funeral today.
God hates the U.S. Ah! Thank God for 9/11. Woo!
Court is in session today to address the collective congregation of one Westboro Baptist Church who took it upon themselves on the morning of the funeral of Matthew Snyder to openly protest his homosexual lifestyle. The church claims to have a right to freedom of speech and protest, while the Snyder family claims the congregation had no right of disturbing the peace of their family's mourning that sorrow-filled day. Let the court proceed. Mr. Snyder, what say you on your family's behalf?
Your Honor, imagine you have a child. You then spend the next 18 years of your life working hard to provide for and raise that child and love them with all your heart. Then one day, as a fully grown adult, they look you in the eyes and they tell you they're headed off to a foreign land to serve their country and lay down their life if need be. One late night, you get the news that your baby boy was killed in action as selflessly laid down his life so that some entitled, judgmental, religious extremist can have an opinion about your son's lifestyle. The congregation had no business, whether they were on public land or not, protesting across the street of my boy's funeral, disturbing our time to grieve. Tell me, Your Honor, what kind of monstrous people has enough evil inside them to put down a selfless hero solely because, heaven forbid, he was just a little bit different than them?
Thank you, Mr. Snyder, for your testimony. Now we will hear from the Phelps and the Westboro Baptist Church.
I, Phelps, speaking for the Westboro Baptist Church, claim our doings completely justified as freedom of speech and protest. This is supported by our First Amendment rights. Now, we exercised our rights on public land across a public road in which the funeral took place. We have been putting on these protests for upwards of 20 years. But now there's going to be an uproar because people get their feelings hurt? We have not harmed nobody, for heaven's sakes. Besides, we were protesting 30 minutes before the funeral and not during. All I have to say is that the church was not in the wrong and we were doing what we have always done.
In conclusion, we have the Snyder family pleading emotional distress placed upon their family by the members of the Westboro Baptist Church. On the other hand, the Westboro Baptist Church defends their actions and claims that their actions were justified and protected under the First Amendment. Justices, will you please cast your vote now?
I, Justice Samuel Alito, would like to say that our profound national commitment to free and open debate is not a license for the visual verbal assault that occurred in this case.
Even though I agree with the majority vote, I, Justice Stephen J. Breyer, do not believe that our First Amendment analysis can stop or be removed at that point.
So, after looking at everything about the court case, I would like to say that I agree with the jurors. I think that Westboro Church really went over the top, and even though they had been doing it for so long, it just doesn't seem right to bash people and put, false ideas into others' heads. So, I think that what the jurors said was on point, and the only thing that I would probably have an issue with was the amount of money, because even though it was wrong and it was very, very crude, I think that, millions of dollars is just way too much. Like, I would understand a couple thousand or something like that, but, just for words or anything like that, I just don't think that was very fair. But aside from that, I think that the case went well, and that I would have done the same thing if I were a juror.
Okay, so after looking at the case, I also agreed that the jurors did a good job and that the case went well, with the justices reaching an appropriate conclusion that the Snyder family should not have had to have been disturbed on their day of mourning, and that the Westboro Baptist Church did not need to be there while everything was going on and protesting just in an inappropriate time, just completely in bad taste. The one thing that I do want to point out about this case is that the Snyder family was pleading for emotional distress, and I think in today's society that already has been and is going to be stretched a lot further in modern times. So I think we need to be very careful about awarding money compensation for emotional distress. I know that in this particular case, the Snyder family was awarded like $5.5 million, excuse me. Originally that was like $10.6 million. I think it's highly inappropriate that he should receive $10.6 million just because his son's funeral was heckled a little bit. Completely in bad taste, I know, but just along the lines of being careful. I think maybe $500,000, $500,000 or so should have been awarded just to, if he wanted to have another memorial service or something, not necessarily a funeral, but just some kind of remembrance ceremony, and that would have covered it and put a little bit of padding on there. But I just think that $5.5 million is just way too high for emotional distress, and it's a very dangerous thin line to watch. So yeah, I think we need to be careful in modern times.
Overall, my personal thoughts on this court case are pretty simple. I agree with the Snyder's claim of emotional distress. I do not think that the Westboro Baptist Church should be allowed to harass the family of deceased soldiers, no matter what sexuality they are. But I do think that the payout was a little excessive.
Ah! I lost my Sharpie in the woods. Ha!
It's okay, I was calling to see if it's still okay if we came to the house, but we're already sitting in the living room, so.
This is supported by the First Amendment rights. Now, stop.
Why'd you just ruin that?
I was rolling and you're over here petting. I guess I could.